The African Union is set to become a permanent member of G20, which would give the continental body of 55 African states the same status as the European Union. But you have to ask yourself, why now? Look, with the expansion of BRICS, it has finally dawned on the colonial West that Africans have an alternative to the classic Western-led world order, and they are desperate to rein Africans back into the neo-colonial power sphere. For what feels like eternity, Africans weren't treated like equal partners, and instead any relationship was built on the foundation of subjugation and control. But with the facade of Western dominance cracking and new alliances forming, Africa's might can no longer be undermined. It's finally time for the world's most important continent to step up to the plate and redefine its destiny. It's easy to be fooled by Western promises of seemingly altruistic equality and partnership, especially after getting a seat at the table, isn't it? But never forget what they did to you and milk this cow for what it's worth. But ultimately, I want to know your opinion. Will joining the G20 benefit Africa? Let me know in the comments, and I want to wish you all the
America's manipulation of Africa is rapidly coming to an end, and here's what happened. 15 countries, and soon all 54 nations, will be using the Pan-African Payments and Settlement System, PAPS, to trade in local currency. This means they are not using the dollar, and this means the US loses out on about $200 billion in trade, but more importantly, loses power over these nations. It's finances and culture that are driving these nations to eliminate the dollar and not Trump. Financially, PAPS reduces trade's costs from about 30% to 1%. The cultural clash is between self-transcendent and self-enhancement cultures. Africa's self-transcendent cultures value collective welfare, cooperation, and win-win scenarios. America's self-enhancement dollar system values power, achievement, control over resources, and the zero-sum game. Neither culture or value is right or wrong, each has its place, but the US imposing self-enhancement values in self-transcendent cultures is doomed to fail from the beginning, and we've been here before. In the 1960s, the French Franc zone collapsed because self-enhancement colonial control clashed with self-transcendent independence movements. In the 1980s, the Soviet ruble system failed because centralized control clashed with national sovereignty. And today, the American dollar system is failing because self-enhancement zero-sum culture clashes with self-transcendent collective prosperity. Same cultural pattern, same outcome, different decade. So what's next? In the next several years, we can expect all 54 African nations to use PAPS, but the dollar reserve currency status is only slightly weakened since Africa accounts for only about 3% of global GDP and holds limited global reserves. However, America will no longer be able to block transactions and freeze foreign reserves, and this means U.S. power in Africa essentially comes to an end, especially since Trump and Musk eliminated aid to all African nations. So with nothing to entice and no power to bully, there's no reason to succumb to U.S. demands, and this is the slow but accelerating end of American global domination.
How can we help foster the public-private partnerships, bringing American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting, so that we can exploring where we can get these minerals?
I want to leave one message, and that is that Africa's growth prospects for the next 40 years are extremely strong. Africa could achieve during the next 40-year period essentially what China achieved during the period from 1980 to 2020. And China went from being a low-income country to a high-income country in a period of just over 40 years. My view is that this is possible for Africa, and that this should be the aim.
The United States believes that it can sanction South Africa into submission. They believe that they can dictate your policies. They believe that they can bully you into compliance. But in my opinion, they have miscalculated, and they have miscalculated badly. They believe that they hold all the power, but that's a lie. South Africa is not weak. And you shouldn't act like you are. You control critical minerals, resources without which their industries, their military, their so-called green energy transition, all of that will stall. If they want economic warfare, then let them know that without South Africa, their technological and military ambitions collapse. This isn't just empty rhetoric. This is reality. And sometimes you need to be told what reality is. What about South Africa's ports? I mean, do they think that the global trade routes that they depend on are untouchable, America? South Africa holds the key to vital shipping lanes. South Africa is a gateway to global trade. If America attempts to cripple you in South Africa, you remind them that you can disrupt their supply chains. You can forge new alliances throughout BRICS and throughout Africa, and you can make them feel the consequences of their aggression. Yes, you can. And to anyone in South Africa who says that you need their markets, you need their investments, and so on, dependency is a choice in 2025. You don't have to be shackled to that system, a system that was only ever designed to keep you weak. You have alternative partners today. You have natural wealth, alhamdulillah. You have the strength and you have the position to dictate your own economic future. Yes, you do. I'm telling you that this is America shooting in the air while they are retreating. If you stand up to them, they will stand down. Obviously, American sanctions aren't about justice, they're about control. That's always been the case. Their aid is not generosity, it's leverage. Always. They make that very clear. Their partnerships are not built on respect. They are built on the expectation that you will always remain subordinate. They think that you're going to sit back and let them try to cripple you. But I think you should prove them wrong. If they sanction your industries, nationalize theirs. If they try to isolate you, then you lead the charge in de-dollarization. If they try to break you, then forge stronger bonds with those who share your vision in the global south. This is radical realism. This is not idealism. This is not emotionalism. It's the simple, inescapable truth of power. The truth of power is that it must be met with power. So I would say to the people of South Africa, enough is enough. The time of compromise is over for everyone in the global south.
I am talking to the black people. And let me try first to ask you this question. Have you ever thought that a time like this will come when you see the white people that we used to bow before them, that we used to believe, that we looked towards them as our gods, that one day they will come and start to apologize to Africans, that one day they will come to be so sorry to the blacks and all that they used to do to Africans? Have you ever imagined that a time like this can come or will ever come? Tell me what you have in the comment section. And now, today, I presented you a video of the US senators, and they are so worried. They are so worried over Africans, over their economy. They are so worried because they're watching how Africa is rising, how Africans are awakening. They're watching how Africans are making their bold moves, how they're making their decisions. And they feel like if they continue maybe ignoring these people, if they continue assuming all that is happening in this continent, if they assume and they keep on looking down to everything that's happening, maybe in a few years to come, they're going to lose a lot. They're going to destroy everything they have built, they have ever have. So today, we are so proud that even those people who used to oppress us, they have come to realize that Africans are awake. They have come to realize that Africa is not the same as how they used to take Africa. Today, we are watching things happen in a different perspectives, whereby now the people who used to control the world, who used to come and do whatever they want, they used to dictate to our own resources, to our own richness. They used to come and do anything they want to Africa, just like Africa doesn't have any people or people who are concerned there. Now things are happening different, whereby now these people, for them to come here in Africa, they need a permission. We are the people who needed permission even for our own issues. We needed permission for us to build hospitals, for us to create or to build companies. We need a factory permissions for us to get or to raise our voices. But today, as things are in a different way, whereby everything has turned the other way around, whereby now today Africans are doing things and they don't need permission from anybody. I came across a video of a certain video whereby America was trying to tell Africa that if you continue doing business with Russia, we are going to sanction you. And I'm like, wow. So what is sanction? Because at this time, I think that we are the one to sanction America, Europe, and Great Britain. We are the one to sanction China and Russia, because sanction means that if we do this, then they cannot have that access to come to Africa and do anything. If they sanction us, it means that we can no longer do business with them. We will not have this diplomatic relationship anymore. We cannot transport our goods to their countries. So, according to this perspective of sanction, how do you understand it? Because if they can say that they're going to sanction Africa, then it means that they are going to destroy themselves. Because if they sanction us, it means that we are not allowed to transport anything from Africa to those countries. So what are we transporting? Because even all these goods that we're transporting from Africa to go in Europe, in America, they're not helping African economies. They're not helping anything here, because the situation is the same. They're the ones who have been transporting our own goods, our richness, our resources, our golds, our diamonds. So if they say that we are going to sanction you, in fact, we can welcome this sanction with both hands, because we are going to benefit from this. We are going to build and develop from this. We are going to do things that has never been there before. It means that we are going to strengthen our own economy, because everything that is in Africa will remain in Africa. Everything that we are having today here will remain and will be used and utilized here in African continent without sharing with other people. So today, I can't imagine that we are sitting and watching in our televisions, in our phones, across internet, while we are in Africa. People from America, from Britain, from France, are coming in a polite way. They are talking to Africa in a good manner. They are asking for the best relationship. They are asking for them to come back so that they can do business. They are asking Africa to give them another chance, so that they have to listen to us. For whatever we ask, they have to deliver, but not coming to take and control us how they used to. All this is happening because they have tried to see all that is coming, and they see danger. They see a red light. They see a danger coming, and it's consuming their own life, their countries, their economy. But again, at this time, I don't think if we have any Africa who has the business to do with the Europeans, because they have been here in Africa for so long. They existed before we were born. They oppressed the founder generations. They oppressed, they killed. They destroyed our own continent. Everything that was built in Africa which looked better, they came and destroyed. Today, going to Libya. Libya was a very good country, but they trained Africans not to appreciate. When you are too good, the Africans will have to see you like you are boring. So Muammar Gaddafi of Libya was a very good leader who was doing great things to his people, but they trained Africans to not appreciate, and the people of Libya came to dislike their own leader, and they gave the support to the foreigners, to the America, to come and assassinate Muammar Gaddafi. And from there, the Libyans celebrated. But again, today, what's happened in that country, it has turned to a battlefield whereby everyone is surviving on his own. You are fighting, you are protecting by your own self. Everyone today is accompanied by a weapon. That is what they need. They have been supporting to Africa, or that kind of life. We are not supposed to have peace. We were not supposed to have anything good. We are sitting on top of every richness, every resources, but we are not allowed to use them. They have to come and take to their countries. They go to build the generation of the life of the coming generation, while the African youth and children are dying due to hunger, due to lack of medical cares, due to bad roads, due to bad economy. So they used to treat Africa just like trash. And because the Africans were not believed to come out and do the great things, that's why you've seen always they have been coming here to take down all the great people from Africa who arise, who awaken, who come to influence Africans. That we have to be alert with these people, because they are not good. They don't mean good for you. They are just here because of all that we are having, but they are not here because of us. They have been coming. They left Africa during the time of slavery, but they never left Africa. They have been existing while we don't see them. They have been existing. They don't wear uniforms, but their militaries are here. Their bases are in each and every country of Africa. They're the one controlling our government systems. They're the one that controlling and funding the terrorists to destroy African security systems. So, because Africa today and the youth are awake, and that's why Africa is being seen as a threat, because we are no longer today supporting or ready to support all that they have been doing all this time. We know their tactics. We know their way of coming and convince and manipulate Africans. That's why today you see African leaders are against any leader who is a puppet, any leader who is still submissive to the former colonizers. Because through the access of our own African leaders, that's when all this problem has been happening. Because of the access of African leaders who are greedy and don't think of the tomorrow's future of Africa, they only think about themselves and their own families and the people who surround them. That's why today Africa is still in this situation that we are in today. This is not the time that we've been coming. We are supposed to be coming here to speak about unity, in freedom, independence, and everything. Since the time of African countries gaining their independence, it has been 60 years and above. We are in a point of being developed, being the great people across the world. Because what is limiting Africa when we have everything that any person or any country need to be great? What's that limiting us? So it has come to the point where the people who are concerned are awake, and now they're feeling like it's their end. Today they're coming to tell us that they want to take African Union, UN, to G20s. So why today? We have been here for so long. We have been begging for freedom, equality, justice, but nobody listened to us. We have been begging for freedom. Nobody listened to Africans. Nobody listened to the black people. So why today? Why today after the Africans have awake? Why today? Because this is not the time of Africans associating with the people who never had the best interest towards it. We don't need to be associated or bonded by anybody in Africa, because all these bodies has been there. They have been there. AU has been there for so long. ECOWAS has been there. UN has been there. They never considered Africa, but they considered African richness. That's why they have been supporting everything which is meant for bad for Africa. So at this time, I think it's our responsibilities as the black people to stand up, to stand strong, speak out our voice. And we are not ready to accept any offer that's coming, because it is too late. It is too late, and there is nothing good that the Westerners can offer to Africa, but we are the one to offer to them. So at this time, all I can say, as per my views, individual, there is no forgiveness here. There is no collaboration. There is no a dialogue. Let them keep their Europe. Let us keep our Africa and keep on moving, so that we can see who will develop, who will stand, and who will fall. I will not take much of your time. Consider subscribing, sharing this Kenyan Explorer. I'm here to share my views. So kindly, I ask you to put your views on the comment section that we can discuss and know really what's happening and what's supposed to be done as we are fighting to achieve the agenda of the great people like Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, and all these great Pan-Africans who are fighting for the great change and revolution and the African unity, because this is our agenda and we must achieve it. Until next time, until next episode, let's meet on the comment section and really know what you have to put across as your views. And may you be blessed wherever you're reaching from. I love and appreciate support for you being here each and every time.